Hello, my name is Heather Clendenning, and I'm going to be giving you a presentation on cyberbullying prevention and some internet safety tips as well. What my district currently does to prevent cyberbullying is we do have a anti-cyberbullying site called FBI SOS. It's a program, and it's used to teach about internet safety and cyberbullying. This is mostly done by our librarian in each one of our schools. And during this time, usually during the child's library time, the librarian encourages the student to take the cyberbullying FBI SOS course. It is not a requirement. And many times we found that the students maybe aren't completing it. They might have started it, but it's not necessarily always finished. There is also links on each school website that the students and staff have access to that can give them more information about cyberbullying and prevention and ways that they can, that it can be prevented possibly. But it is only provided in English, and the district that I currently work in has a very high ESL component to it. So many of the parents cannot read in English, and it is not provided in any other language other than English. So that is an issue for many of the parents. There is also a link on our district website to report digital, any kind of digital or cyberbullying that's happening, and they can go onto this website, and it will then they can report it anonymously, and it is then sent to a school site director, and then the appropriate schools are notified of the issue, and usually the principal and or social worker is then gets involved to help resolve the issue. What I would like to see my district do to prevent cyberbullying is to have a more formal training for teachers and staff. Really, up until I was in this class, I knew that there was cyberbullying, but I didn't realize what a prevalent issue it's becoming in the schools, especially in the upper grades. I teach lower elementary, so it's not as much something that we're very much aware of, but I do hear about it with older brothers and sisters and in some of the older grades. So having a more formal training for the entire staff would help. Also, there needs to be a better protocol. Like I said previously, there really isn't a protocol as far as like if a student was to come to me, who I'm really supposed to talk to. I talked to some people, they said it was the social worker, others said it was the principal. Some have even said that there's someone at the district level you're supposed to contact first, and then they decide. So I really don't think that there's a clear path as to how each one of these are supposed to be handled. Some prevention ideas would definitely be educating students on the effects of cyberbullying. I don't think students are fully aware of when they're typing things into, what seems like a blank screen, that there's somebody on the other end of that. And I think that that's probably one of the biggest issues that we're just facing, not only as a school district, but as a nation, of how to deal with social media and, what happens to the effects of cyberbullying. I would also like to see some mandated student and parent training. In the district where I live and my personal children attend, there is definitely more mandated student and parent training. And I will talk about that further in my next point about parenting. But I would also like to showing students where help can be found is also up until today, or up until I should say this week when I was working on this project, I did not realize actually how many places we do have in our district that really could help the students if there is an issue, what they could do. And that I'm not aware as their teacher, I'm sure many of my students may not know either. And my last part in prevention is with parents. what cyberbullying is and warning signs. I don't think that many parents have any idea of really what cyberbullying is. I think it's something that's becoming more and more prevalent that you might hear in the news. But in my school district, what I was unaware of was just how much the parents can be held accountable. And now that there are city rules coming up in my city where I personally live, it's a pretty heavy duty fine if your child is left pretty much on their own to say and do whatever they want, including things that can go on a child's permanent record. That could definitely prevent them to joining certain sports and clubs, prevented them from even doing things outside of school, and possibly even being something in a criminal record. And I also think that parents are not aware of how many parental monitoring apps there really are. There are some good uses of technology that would be definitely beneficial to a lot of the parents. I know we now use a parent monitoring app on my own son's phone to help us kind of monitor what he's doing, where he's at, what social media outlets he's on. And what I like most about it is that it alerts you to certain words, possibly cussing, but also if the words of any kind of drugs come up, sex, anything that could be, a warning sign, alcohol of any kind, kind of warning flags for parents. So, in some ways, parents aren't always willing to do these kinds of things. But in our case, I would rather be safe than sorry and be able to know exactly what my child is doing and where he's doing before I'm called by, a principal or worse, the authorities. So I hope you enjoy my presentation on cyberbullying in our district and things that I know is on my own. Thank you so much.